Department of Computer Engineering and Information Technology. We are from the Devi Mahalakshmi Polytechnic, Titwala. 5th semester. Subject Software Testing. Subject code is 22518. The chapter 1 is the basics of software testing and testing methods. We are discussed about in the previous lecture is the test cases, entry and exit criteria, and verification and validation model. That is the V model. Now we will learn about the role of software testing, the principle of software testing, as well as the quality assurance and quality control, the difference between the quality assurance and quality control, and the method of software testing. Now, learning outcome of this video, the role of software testing, the principle of software testing, the quality assurance and quality control, difference between quality control and quality assurance, as well as the method of testing. These are the two types of the testing, static testing and the dynamic testing. Chapter 1, Basics of Software Testing and Testing Method. The important topic is the role of software testing. There are four roles of important in the software testing. The first is test lead or test manager. The role of the test lead or manager are to effectively lead the testing team. To fulfill this role, the lead must understand the discipline of testing and how to effectively implement a testing process while fulfilling the traditional leadership roles of a manager. What does this mean? The manager must manage and implement or maintain an effective testing process. Then, next is the test architect. The role of the test architects is to formulate an integrated test architecture that support the testing process. To fulfill this role, the test architect must have a clear understanding of the short term and long term goals of the organization. The resource, both hard and soft, available to the organization and clear vision on how to most effectively deploy these assets to form an integrated text architecture. Then, third is the test designer or tester. The role of test designer or tester is to design and document test cases, execute the test, record test results, document defects, and they perform test coverage analysis. To fulfill this role, the designer must be able to apply the most appropriate testing techniques to test the applications as efficiently as possible while meeting the test organizing the testing mandatory. Then, the fourth is the test automation engineer. The main role of this, the test automation engineer, is to create automated test case script that performs the test. To fulfill this role, the test automation engineer must develop and maintain an effective test automation infrastructure using the tools and techniques available to testing the organization. The test automations engineer must work is concerned with the test designer to ensure the appropriate automation solutions is being deployed. When testing is introduced in the release stage, the cost of fixing the bug can be reduced. Cost of fixing the bug become larger. The bug is not found at the right time. The role of testing in software development begins with the improved reliability, quality and performance of the software. It assesses the development to check out whether the software is performing the right way and assure that the software is not performing what it is not supposed to do. Next topic is Principles of software testing. Software testing is a process of executing a programs with the aim of finding the errors. To make our software perform well, it should be error free. If testing is done successfully, it will remove all the errors from the software. There are 7 principles in the software testing. The first is the testing shows presence of defect. Second, exhausting testing is not possible. Third, early testing. Fourth, defect clustering. Fifth, pesticide paradox. Sixth, testing is context dependent. Seventh, absence of errors fallacy. Now I will explain the principles of software testing in shortly. The first is testing shows presence of defects. In previous lecture, we learned about the defect. Defect, that means error. The goal of the software testing is to make the software fail. Software testing reduces the presence of defects. Software testing talks about the presence of defect and doesn't talk about the absence of defects. Software testing can ensure that defects are present, but it cannot prove that software is defects free. Even multiple testing can never ensure that software is 100% bug free. Testing can reduce the number of defects but not remove all defects. The second principle is exhausting testing is not possible. It is the process of testing the functionality of a software in all possible inputs. Valid or invalid inputs are there, and preconditions as known as exhausting testing. This testing is impossible, means the software can never test at every test cases. It can test only some test cases and assume that the software is correct, and it will produce the correct output in every test cases. If the software will test every test cases, then it will take more cost, effort, etc., and which is impractical. Then third is early testing. To find the defects in the software, early test activity shall be started. The defect detected in early phase of SDLC, that means the software development life cycle, will very less expensive. For better performance of software testing will start at the initial phase, and that is testing will perform at the requirement analysis phase. The third is the defect clustering. In a project or in a modules, a small number of units can contain the most of the defects. Pareto principles to software testing state that 80% of software defects comes from 20% of models. Then next is the pesticide paradox. The repeating the same test cases again and again will not find the new bugs. So it is necessary to review the test cases and add or update the test cases to find the new bugs. Then next principle is the testing is context dependent. Testing approach depends on the context of the software developed. The different types of software need to perform the different types of testing. For example, the testing of the e-commerce site is different from the testing of the Android application. Then next and last, seventh principle of the software testing, absence of the errors fallacy. If a build software is a 99% is the bug free, but it does not follow the user requirement, then it is unusable. It is not only the necessary that software is 99% bug free, but it also mandatory to fulfill all the customers' requirements. These are the principles of the software testing. Now we will see the next slide. Now let's see the quality assurance and the quality control. Quality assurance and quality control are two aspects of quality management. While some quality assurance and the quality control activities are interrelated, the two are defined differently. Typically, QA, that's mean quality assurance, activities and responsibilities cover the virtually all of the quality systems in one fashion or another, while QC is a subset of the QA activities. Also, elements in the quality system might not be specially covered by QA or QC activities and responsibilities, but may involve QA and QC. The quality assurance, defined as the part of the quality management, focus on the providing confidence that quality requirements will be fulfilled. The confidence provided by the quality assurance is twofold: the internally to management and externally to customer, government agencies, the regulators, certifiers and the third parties. And alternate definitions in all the planned and the systematic activities implemented within the quality system that can be demonstrated to provide the confidence that a product or the service will fulfill requirements for a quality. Next is the quality control. It is defined a part of the quality management focus on the fulfilling requirements, while the quality assurance relates to how a process is performed or how a product is made. Quality control is more than the inspection aspect of the quality management. The operational techniques and activities used to fulfill the requirements for quality. Figure shows the relations between the QA and QC. Then, the QA activities and responsibility cover the virtually all of the quality system in one fashion or another, while the QC is the subset of the QA activities. So, elements in the quality system might not be specially covered by the QA QC activities and responsibility, but may involve. In short, the quality assurance is the process oriented and focuses on a defect prevention, while the quality control is a product oriented and focus on the defect identification. It is the combination of a quality assurance, the process or set of processes used to measure and assure the quality of a product, and quality control, the process of ensuring products and services meet the consumers expectations. Now we will discuss about the difference between the QC and QA. Then the 3 points are expressed here: the how, what and responsibility of the quality control and the quality assurance. Then how? In the quality control, the finding and eliminating sources of the quality problems through tools and equipment so that the customer's requirements are continually met. And the quality assurance, establish a good quality management systems and the assessment of its adequacy. The periodic confirms the audits of the operation of the system. Then, what is quality control? The activities are techniques used to achieve and maintain the product quality, process and service. In the quality assurance, the prevention of the quality problems through planned and systematic activities including the documentation. The responsibilities on the quality controls is, the quality control is usually the responsibility of a specific team that tests the product for defects, and in the responsibility and quality assurance is, the everyone on the team involved in the developing the product is responsible for the quality assurance. Now we discuss how, what and the responsibility of the QA and QC. Then some difference between the QA and QC are here. The first is, the quality assurance aim is to prevent the defect and the QC aim is to identify and improve the defects. QA is the technique of managing quality and QC is a method to verify quality. QA it does not involve executing the programs and QC is always involves executing the programs. In QA, all team members are responsible for QA and in QC, the testing team is responsible for QC. For example of QA is the verification and the example of QC is the validation. In QA, the statistical techniques used on QA is known as the statistical process control. And QC, the statistical techniques used on QC is known as the statistical quality control. In QA, make sure you are doing the right things. In QC, make sure the result of what you have done or what you expected. In QA is responsible for full software development lifecycle and QC is responsible for software testing lifecycle. And QA is the process to create the deliverables and QC is the process to verify the deliverables. Next is the types of testing, the methods of testing. Testing is an activity to assure the quality of your end results. Hence, it is a subset of a quality assurance. Testing is something that is done to check the level of quality. It can be thought of as quality assurance or the quality checking. But the process of assuring that a deliverable meets a certain quality standard is something that needs to be built in directly into the project itself. In this testing, there are the two types of testing. The first is dynamic testing and second is the static testing. The dynamic testing is again divided into two parts, the functional testing and non-functional. And static testing is included in the review, inspection, walkthrough and static analysis. In the next slide, we will discuss what is static testing and the types of the static testing. Static testing is performed in early stage of development to avoid errors as it is easier to find sources of failures and it can be fixed easily. The errors that can't not be found using a dynamic testing can be easily found by the static testing. There are mainly two types of the techniques used in the static testing, the review and the static analysis. In review, the informal walkthrough and peer review and inspections are there. Now, we will discuss about the review. In review, the informal walkthrough, peer review and inspections are points are here. The first is review. In static testing, review is a process of techniques that is performed to find the potential defects in the design of the software. It is process to detect and remove errors and defects in the different supporting documents like a software requirement specification. People examine the documents and sorted out errors, redundancy and ambiguities. The review is of the four types. The first is informal. In informal review, the creator of the documents put the contents in a front of audience and everyone gives their opinion and thus defects are identified in the early stage. Next is walkthrough. It is basically performed by experienced person or expert to check the defects so that there might not be problems further in the development or testing phase. third one, the peer review. Peer review means checking documents of one another to detect and fix the defects. It is basically done in a team of colleagues. Fourth one, inspection. Inspection is basically the verification of documents, the higher authority, like the verification of software requirement specification, that is SRS. Next is static analysis. It includes the evaluations of the code quality that is written by the developers. Different tools are used to do the analysis of the code and comparison of the same with the standard. It also helps in the following identifications of the following defects. Number 1, unused variables. Number 2, date code. Third, infinite loops. Fourth, variable with undefined value. And fifth is the wrong syntax. There are the two types of them. The first is data flow and second is the control flow. In data flow is related to the stream processing and control flow is basically how the statements or instructions are executed. Now, next is the dynamic testing. Dynamic testing is a software testing process that is performed in an environment where the code is actually executed. This type of testing is used by the team to check the functional behavior of the software and to verify its conformance with the user expectation and requirements. It is the validation phase of software verification and validation. The main advantages of the dynamic testing is that it can always find errors that static testing cannot find it, and that is the reason why it is considered as a high level exercise. It improves the quality of software because the dynamic testing means executing the software, and when we execute the software, chances are higher for finds many bugs in the application. So it ensures error free software to some extent and hence increase the quality of a product. Dynamic testing is broadly classified into two types, the white box testing and the black box testing. The white box testing looks at the internal workings of the code. For this type of testing, the tester should know the code development, review and be able to interpret the code. And the black box testing. It looks at only the functionality of the applications under the test. This does not require the tester to know the implement details or be able to interpret the inner workings of the code. This is the type of testing mostly done by the quality assurance department. The black box testings are divided into again two parts, the functional testing and the non-functional testing. In the functional testing, as the name itself suggests, this is the type of the testing that validates the functionality of the application. And non-functional testing, it covers the aspect of performance, recovery, compatibility testing, etc. These are non-functional in nature and there may be a separate divisions in the organization to do the non-functional testing. Some advantages of dynamic testing is dynamic testing process is well established and hence the application is tested from users and business perspective, thus increasing the quality standard. It can be automated using tools. It is complex defects can be caught which may have the escape and review the processes. Now, next is the difference between the static testing and the dynamic testing. In static testing, it is performed in the early stage of the software development, and in dynamic testing, it is performed at the later stage of the software development. Second difference is in static testing, whole code is not executed, and in dynamic testing, whole code is executed. In static testing, prevents the defects, and in dynamic testing, find and fix the defects. In static testing, is performed before the code deployment, and in dynamic testing, is performed after code deployment. Next is in static testing is less costly, and vice versa, the dynamic testing is highly costly. In static testing involves the checklist for testing process, and in dynamic testing involve the test cases for testing process. In static testing, it includes the walkthrough, review, and inspection, etc. And in dynamic testing involves the functional and non-functional testing. In static testing, it can discover the variety of bugs, and in dynamic testing, it exposes the bugs that are explorable through execution, hence they discover only limited type of bugs. Thank you.